Are you ready to find out the secret costs of having a virtual assistant? Now, in my last video, I talked about the cost of not having a virtual assistant, but in reality, there's a lot of different things that might be costing you more by having a virtual assistant than just doing everything by yourself. Now, I've been running an executive assistant business in the last 6 years, and for a lot of our clients, they don't get that ROI right away, and there's a few things that they miss essentially when it comes to working with their assistant. And most of the time, there are going to be signs. One, there could be deadlines that are being missed, that things aren't being pushed out. Two is you're still the one doing a lot of your emails or a lot of the recurring tasks, even after you have delegated it to your assistant. You could be correcting them a lot, micromanage it. You could be correcting them a lot, finding mistakes in their work. And you could be thinking that, hey, they might not just be the person for me. And as an entrepreneur or a business owner, you might be thinking, what was the point of hiring a virtual assistant in the first place? And before you know it, you're just back into being a bottleneck within your own business. And the reality of this, the hard truth of it, is you delegated the task, but not the responsibility. And this is something that I see over and over again where people end up being their own assistants despite even having already their own virtual assistant because they've delegated the task, but not the outcome. You've given your assistant the task of writing social media captions, but not the responsibility or outcome of getting engagement up. You're not thinking the end result. You're just giving them the small step to kind of get them to move forward. Or maybe it's on the flip side where you're expecting your executive assistant, your EA, to be your everything assistant. And I've seen this pattern over and over again where clients expect their assistant to do everything in their business just because they can do everything in their business. And the truth is, it is your business, not your assistants. They're there to support you, not actually be the person to replace fully who you are within the business. So the cost of it is you're still doing a lot of the work while paying someone else to supposedly do the work, but you're not delegating or even giving them feedback the best way. Now, how do you fix the cost of having a virtual assistant who might not be effective in your business? The first one is defining what done looks like and delegating better. Now, the framework that I have our clients follow is making sure that they understand the WOW method when it comes to delegating or giving outcomes to their assistant, where you give them the context of the first W, which is the why. Why is this something that is essential for the business? That way your assistant understands the context of why this is even a task in the business, of why it actually needs to get done. It gives him a little bit of background knowledge on how this affects everything else in your business. The O is the outcome. What is the actual metric or measurable thing that you're moving this task towards? So again, it could be just writing social media posts, but the goal is to get engagement. The goal could be get them to sign up. The goal is to get a lead. Whatever that outcome is, you want to make sure that that's clear. And the last W on there is essentially the who or the what. What are the resources that the assistant can use, or who are the resources that the assistant can contact to make sure that this job gets done? So you're giving them the full context of what it is that they're trying to accomplish rather than just giving them crumbs basically to hopefully get them to get to the point where they understand what they're doing. You're giving them the full context. That way, especially in the first 90 days of working with your assistant, you're giving them the best steps essentially to succeed and move forward. Next is building that playbook of your standard procedures, or basically your proof of how things get done within your business. Now, this could be just you doing a couple of just video recording of you doing tasks. It could be you walking them through on Zoom, and it's a recorded session so they can go back to it and re-evaluate. And it could also be them creating your SOPs, your documentation from those videos, so then you can see if they understood the context of what it is that you're trying to get them to do, rather than just kind of accepting whatever it is that you're giving to them. Next is making sure that you have a feedback rhythm. What it is you have a time, whether it's right after a project is done, whether it's a project is 50% done, whether it is a daily sync that you have. The point of it is there's a way for you to effectively give feedback and not have it be too long of a gap between them doing the task and you actually giving them feedback. You want to make sure that your feedback, especially again in the first 90 days, are pretty fast, are pretty direct to the point, and you're always talking about what it is that you're looking forward to. Not just telling them hey, your email sucked. You say, hey, your email didn't really work right. This is an example example of how I want you to do it better next time. Or, hey, your email didn't really sound professional. This is the template that we'll now use moving forward. So every time that they make a little bit of mistake or they do something that doesn't really align to what it is that you said, go back to it and see if you did, give them the context of why it needed to be done, the outcome, and then the resources that they needed to be able to get that task or that outcome actually finished to the point where it was done kind of at least 80% as well as you did. This way, with the kind of schedule sync, you're kind of giving feedback on the system and not the person itself. Because a lot of the time, in reality, it's not really your virtual assistant or your executive assistant's fault. It could just be the system that you are running or the process that you've been doing. It might just not be working as well when you start giving it to someone else. Now, going through that whole process of figuring out if your assistant is costing you and then trying to fix it might be a little bit overwhelming, but in reality, in the long run, it's going to allow you to do more things within your business. Rather than just running it, you're actually starting to grow and build on it. Rather than just putting out fires, you're building safe walls, so then you're not going to have to put out more fires in the future, and you can just focus on, again, just getting your business either just stable or growing, whatever your goals may be. And of course, if you want to go through this whole process with me, make sure to book a call within the link below to get started with your own amazing executive assistant, and we'll make sure that you get that ROI and skip a lot of the mistakes a lot of people make when hiring with a virtual assistant directly. And again, a lot of this is just building your business long term. It's not just having a business tomorrow or the next month or the next year. It's looking 5 years later that even if this virtual assistant actually did fail, at least the next one is going to be a little bit better and a little bit better because you've built the systems already from the last one. So that's a few things to just keep in mind as you work with your virtual assistant. Now, if you like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. Comment below any questions you might have when it comes to working with a virtual assistant. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Thursday on how to grow your business with an executive assistant and AI. And if you want your assistant to be a little bit better trained, check out my first channel here, which is filled with content for virtual assistants and using AI. And make sure to check out the latest video here. I hope you guys have an amazing and fantastic day. And with that, well, steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!